And we are live, and peace to the chat. Hey, I know you've been sneak watching, so I'm gonna sneak watch for a little minute with you all as well. Thanks for coming to Rock and B1 Brother Moses on YouTube. Man, y'all know me on Facebook too, so I'm gonna try to stream to both and just share a couple of thoughts. Y'all see it in your timeline. So, hey, this is hilarious to me, first of all. It's satire, but it's comical. And the more I watch, I have been sneak watching all day. The more I watch, the more I'm like hooked on watching. So it's just been going on and on. Now, this really started this sneak watching the news. I am guilty of actually being more intrigued by the election process this year than on previous years, and there has been a lot of drama and controversy with this election process that's been worth watching. Excuse me, real quick. All right, there we go. There's been a lot of drama and controversy that made it worth watching. So if you've been watching, especially for this year so far, man, you've probably been intrigued just like I've been. So, hey, man, I'm going to share my screen, of course, but I also just want to talk through it. And I know they'll probably not like this, but they always tell me and warn me not to play other people's information like CBS and those news reports and all of that. But I'm gonna play just a little bit of snippet anyway, and we'll just take the risk. Educational purposes. This is a B1 Network timestamp. We got to have this type of information, and we got to have them, especially as we continue to have our conversations. But our conversations are typically around the Black experience. And so my first disclaimer will be, I know this is for the most part not us out here acting this fool. And so that's what makes it a little bit comical. But more than that, because I have to talk about our experiences from our lens, we also need these type of milestones as case studies or juxtapositions to be able to bounce this idea back and forth off of those people who would like to debate us on what civil rights and the struggle for civil rights should look like. Why is it important? Which forms do demonstrations and protests take? Which ones are acceptable under which circumstances? See, we've been setting that rule for ourselves, under which circumstance we'd be willing to protest, when, what cases do we take, what causes do we take up for which family members and so forth. And we have our own set of we have our own moral compass, rather, that we use to divinely guide us towards those actions. Now, there's also political ones as well. As we know, back in history, the NAACP was cherry picking cases. The Rosa Parks was a cherry picked case. Plessy versus Ferguson, a cherry picked case. Even when it comes to information and the right to privacy or the right to disclosure, we can see the similarities with the Byron Allen being a cherry picked case, even the case studies that they used there at the Supreme Court. And so it's a very common practice to look at different case studies. And although I don't like to do this often, I will use this case study with a bit of a timestamp from intellectual property or created works from another competing media outlet. It's not black. It's not Black First, never claims to be. It is white media. But we will share just a little bit of it nonetheless, because I found it absolutely hilarious. So let's jump into it, and then we'll open up the conversation.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mama Zach. You continue to watch a CBS News special report after rioters stormed the U.S. Capitol building in Washington today. The angry mob overturned barricades, battled with police, broke windows, disrupting the Electoral College vote count. Lawmakers were forced into hiding in several secure locations there at the Capitol after demonstrators breached the Senate chamber. D.C. is now under curfew, and the National Guard has been activated.
That's crazy, right? That is crazy. I need to let her say it one more time, but I'd really be pressing my luck there, trying to use it twice without permission. So I'm just going to jump into the context and the conversation. Yes, sir. I have a couple of folks that I got to do a couple of shout outs real quick. George Macon too, man. I saw you on earlier as well. Salute to the bro. And here in this YouTube space, I respect the content that you deliver. I respect the position that you hold, and even the purpose to which you're driven by. And so shout out George Macon too. Urban Nerds University is the YouTube channel for Brother George Macon too over there. Be sure to check him out. Likewise, Savage Black Kitty, thanks for coming and rocking. The George Macon Experience is the backup channel for George Macon. And so the content over there, it will be Black first perspective and driven. A lot of the information that it presents, he brings on Black folks to have the conversation with him. I think one of the most memorable streams, if there was one that I would recommend from the brother, would be when he was actually out there on the front lines in Philadelphia, observing some of those riots. That would be another case study analysis that would be added to this one. Let me turn my camera off now. Y'all know what I look like. So Anyway, El Salute. Like always, I like to share my little screen as I have these conversations just to give you something else to look at other than my voice or other than just the screen itself sitting there vibrating as I speak. Voice of Reason, salute, man, for my people. And so I call this rant or this stream of consciousness the caucasity. And we're going to look at it from the satire lens. Now, I'm not the comedian, but there are some funny ways that you should be looking at this. Everything about this was funny. Everything about this event was funny. And it was, in a sense, the 2020 election results culminated in this dramatic fashion on Capitol Hill. This was the culminating piece of all of, the George Floyd, the everything that happened. This is the culminating piece, in my opinion. And I call it the caucasity. That's a word of B1 origin, of course, is when you look at Caucasians and the actions of Caucasians exercising a degree of white privilege. I have no script. I have no notes here to speak on. So I'm just going to free flow with it. Hopefully y'all hit the like button on the way in. The caucasity, the exercising of white privilege to the extent that they don't see the hypocrisy in it. This, in a sense, is the epitome of caucasity. It's a noun, I guess. It's a noun, I guess, as you're talking about a person with caucasity, or maybe that's a verb describing the actions of a person, the actions that they take. It's more of a mindset or a behavioral pattern, a trend. Karen takes the caucasity, for example, of claiming to be afraid in order to have justice expedited on her behalf. Karen pretends to be afraid in order to have justice expedited on her behalf. That's the caucasity in action. And in this case, there are a lot of shining examples of the caucasity that we have to call out, which is thus the timestamp, and thus they should allow, it should weigh, fair use should weigh in my favor here as we present the information from a B1 standpoint. Now, keep this in mind, man. You're supposed to be laughing at all of this as the dramatization is played out. And if you're not laughing at it, then something is obviously driving you to be triggered. Something has to be driving you to be triggered if you can't find the humor, the remarkable levels of humor and satire in this entire experience. But it played out in a dramatic fashion. And so what I saw on Facebook may not have been the same thing you saw on Facebook, but when I saw this on Facebook, I said, bro, I got to go live. Now, the caucasity, can you understand and decode the layers of caucasity in just this image right here? Bruh, Don Cato, salute. Can you see the layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of caucasity in just this image? Can you decode them all? How many give me your examples of dramatic caucasity that you see that culminated in high fashion just in this picture. If you rocking with me right now, you got to drop at least some. What is your interpretation from an artistic lens as white privilege is played out in so many levels here? I'm going to give you mines while I give you some time to type it in. I'm going to type mines in just to see how long it takes to come up with one. But this was my response to this when I saw it on Facebook. I said, this is, let me type it first. Let some other people get their words in. Okay, I'm almost saying it out loud too. I can't even hold back, bro. I was sitting here crying when I saw this. I wasn't even going to say anything. I'm still a little out of shape about the Kyle Rittenhouse hearing. The bail or whatever, he's out on bail, pled not guilty and all of that with video footage and everything. And if you're not familiar with the Kyle Rittenhouse story, the story goes out of a response to Jacob Blake's shooting. Jacob Blake there in Kenosha, Wisconsin, was shot 7 times in the back because they figured he had a knife and he was going for a knife and he was resisting the law and he was challenging the authority of the law. And Jacob Blake was there responding to a call. If you really get into the story deep and go beyond the headlines, responding to a family matter. And in that family matter, white people with guns were called in, and that's who they considered the law or the authority to resolve the conflict in this family matter. And in this family matter, the father, with his boys in the back seat, was leaving the scene, and the police, it looks like they got into a tussle with the black man, and the black man was like, man, I'm getting out of here, goes around the front end of his car, opens up his car door, they start screaming gun, grab him by the shirt, and the officer shoots him 7 times in the back. And out of that officer, they said they didn't have enough to charge. The president of the NAACP out there had a statement, and he's talking about it, and he absolutely wants them to find some charges. Not even wanton endangerment for shooting 7 times in this man's back while he's going into his vehicle with his 3 sons in the car. I guess it wasn't wanton endangerment because every shot hit him. And they tried to Swiss cheese the brother Jacob Blake. And as a result, the culminating experience there with the Black Lives Matter movement being a grassroots organization, it has an actual representation. Macklemore out there, I called him out when it was happening. He organized, they marched, and in the daytime, it was a protest. And then nighttime came, and we saw the response that happened. On the second day of that protest, then comes a Kyle Rittenhouse, says, I'm here to protect the businesses that were already closed during this demonstration. And yet they had a fear that rioters were going to cause devastation and destroy property there in the city. And this militia group that had met on Facebook prior to even getting there, they had met and they had organized and said, we're going down there. The white militias gathered, and Facebook, it was reported more than 40 times. Hey, this isn't right. They're talking about taking guns down there. Hey, this isn't right. And Mark Zuckerberg and his algorithms were not able to send protection for the demonstrators. Not at all. They weren't able to send them. And in fact, the National Guard after the event was there. And even that night, they were aiding the police, were not able to prevent what would be the killing of 2 and the maiming of 1 more. And so Kyle Rittenhouse, the 17-year-old who had the assault rifle and who did go out there and say, I am going to run head first into fire. The little white boy with his caucasic self ran into fire and got all the smoke he wanted. There was a conflict. And in the conflict that he ran into, he then discharged his weapon and killed 2, maiming 1. That night, he's walking towards the police, rifle up. They're saying this guy just murdered some people. This guy just murdered some people. And the police let him go. Now get the caucasity, because the police officer that fired 7 times into the back of Jacob Blake, that didn't get wanton endangerment for it at all. Nothing for the boys and the black bodies in the back seat. Nothing at all. Not guilty, and no charges could be found against that. And so as a result, another white boy with the caucasity goes out and says, well, I am going to run into fire tonight in the name of protecting property against demonstrators. He said, I'm going to run into harm's way. He reported it live. You feel me? And the caucasity was that he said he was there to protect. He was doing a patriotic thing. Let me finish this. I got to get my quote in there. $5 Irish Native American Viking with the patriotic. How do I spell? There it goes. War paint. That's what I said about this picture right here. There are so many different caucastic ironies that you can pull out here. Let's see what says the chat. We got one. The Viking suit with the spear and flag. That is crazy. The spear, excuse me. I see what you're saying. This right here. So he can get, our brother Jacob Blake could get shot in the back 9 times or 7 times, excuse me, over the premise that he's got a knife. And this man can walk in with the sitting senators, with the vice president break all security protocol and make his way all the way to the front podium. The Caucasity with a spear and a Viking helmet, a $5 Irish Native American Viking with patriot paint on his face. Half red, half blue, but all the way through the middle is white. This guy can bring his arms to the floor and interfere in the democratic election process. Y'all don't hear me when I say caucasity. Y'all don't see this caucastic moment being played out and dramatized right in front of our face. What was we watching here? Shortcake's case said the police ain't, and then I see that. I can't see what it is though. They ain't shooting down. They ain't arresting none of them. Ain't no snipers on the roof. There's nothing. Man, that's a body bag. How do you make it this far with all of the world's attention on our election to where when they say, how would you handle in disruption to your democratic process? And the world is watching this major disruption to the democratic process here in the shining example, the beacon of democracy across the world. And the world is watching how do they handle disruptions, not just on the streets of LA, even though the capitals, there was protests and demonstrations, pro-Trump, organizations mobilizing and meeting up at capitals across America. Make no doubt about it, the demonstrations were happening across America. The one that should really shake you to the core a little bit on the security of our nation is these type of images. The ones where they make it to the floor and could have potentially Gabby Gifford, everybody in that bad boy, and there was nothing their police were able to do to stop it for hours, hiding and cowering upstairs and downstairs, putting barricades in front of the doors, military grade security doors being broken down, and the caucasity of these people. But as if that wasn't enough, he's got a mask. He doesn't have a mask. He's got his hand out stopping him, creating a little bit of space in between him. So, of course, it looks like if there's any drama, this is the Captain Save-A-White guy who's willing to stand between the senator and the man with the spear. Not a knife like Jacob Blake, supposedly in his car. He's got the spear in your face and all of the war paint on, letting you know that he feels that it is his patriotic duty to be right here, right now, armed with a Viking helmet on. Bro, what kind of helmet is this? Has got to be the first. This is the throwback original colonies skull cap right here. You don't even need a shirt with this one, bro. You don't even need a shirt, just your tribal tattoos and that hat. That's all you need. That's all. See, if Jacob Blake would have had that hat on, maybe he would have never been shot. He needed that hat, bruh. See, you can have a spear, but not a knife. Because the handle on the knife was too short. That's why Jacob Blake was shot 7 times. Because he didn't have a long enough handle. He didn't have a long enough grip on his arm. It was bad business. Jacob Blake needed the war paint on his face to survive that moment without getting shot. That's why he didn't come out unscathed. He wasn't pumping. Can you imagine if somebody walked up on you looking like this? There's got to be some, I don't know if it's fear or at least something. What the fuck is wrong with this weird ass dude that goes through your mind? Like, how the fuck out of everything he saw in the store, he saw the 5150 hats. He saw, he may even be a Patriots fan and saw the Patriot hat. And he saw it and he saw the brim on it. It had the military camo on it. He was like, nah, that's not the one. He was like, that's not it. And so he's going store to store looking for something that really captures the way he feels right now. And he found this hat right here. You see the chain, and he got a chain on, bruh. With the chain, the hat with the chain and the tattoos, that's all you need. That's how you survive. You got to have a drip on. He is dripped up right now with the Viking helmet on, the horns on it. Like he wasn't even going to buy it unless it had the horns on this thing. If it didn't have them horns on there, he was going to leave it right there in a store because it wasn't for him. Because that's the thing that he needed it. That's his armor. That's not like a regular helmet. That's not like a crusader helmet. That's not like it's not like a Roman centurion helmet. No, because that's not his lineage. That's not his bloodline. This is one of those old school Irish. He was a part of the fur. His ancestors go back to the fur trade when the fur trade was popping more than cotton. When the fur trade was popping more than cotton, his people was having sex with Indians, real Indians, and he knows it. That's how he's a $5 Native American today. He's not an Indian, but by descent, like he was up there in the Great Lakes, old school, like he's first settlement before the real European, UK, British settlement. That's why he's got to divide his face in half right there, because the red side is for the blood that he's willing to shed right there, right now. And the blue with the little stars on it, don't let them stars fool you, because that's just the bombs blowing up at night. They said they found 2 unexploded explosive devices. They disassembled them, but they found 2. How the fuck do you get 2 of those motherfucking things at the White House? At the Capitol, you right there at the doorstep, like here it is. They got them all the way. There wasn't no sniffing canine dogs. By the time they would have called for backup, it was too late, because they didn't already got the shits in there with all of the senators in America. And this is the beacon for democracy for the world to see. And they didn't got it all the way there, but they couldn't even see those things being planted because of this dude's hat. And we supposed to be laughing at this, because if you're not laughing, bro, something must be wrong with you. They got you way too triggered. If you can't look and see that all he needed was one more chain. If he would have had 2 chains on, 2, everybody would be calling this out. If he would have had 2 chains on, they would have said this is cultural appropriation. So since we can't say this is white privilege, since we can't say that's cultural appropriation, we'll call it the caucasity. If that's all right with y'all, can we call it the caucasity of these dudes? Can we have that conversation? Because he is draped up and dripped out. Now, if that wasn't enough, what happens in these type of situations is that they say, oh man, that dude had to have been Antifa. Maybe not him, because Antifa, I don't know if you can really make that claim. George Soros couldn't pay me enough to wear that hat. There is no way the Democratic Party was like, we got a couple of dollars left. Warnock, the brother from Morehouse, is one. Let's go, Senator. He's one. Let's do that. Let's do this. Let's look at the budget, see if we have any money left, and make sure we get some people that can blend in. We want some left-leaning people to blend into this pro-Trump rally and make their way through all the barricades with speed. No, he can't do it normal. He got to do something over the top dramatic. He can't just walk in with a suit and tie on and saying that's some bullshit and we ain't gonna let this election rock until y'all address our real concerns. As American citizens, we have the right to be vocal with our concerns. He's not going to do that. He gotta be over the top. And so the Democratic Party was looking at their budget. They found a few more dollars, just a few. And they was like, how are we going to spend our few dollars? On this motherfucking hat. We got to get old boy a hat. And this dude back here, maybe he is the one. He's got his eye on him. He's kind of watching him like, I wonder what he's going to do. Because if he jabs that man in the chest with this spear, see, right now he's aiming his fingers at him. And if you're black, just aiming your fingers like this is considered a threat. But the caucasity of him, he knows he can wave his fingers because His fingers waving are the alternative to him stabbing him with this spear, I guess. His fingers are the nonviolent solution inside of this conflict. That's nonviolence, is just the fingers. See, he could put 3 of these fingers and the thumb down and leave 1 finger up, and if he's black, he's shot for it. But the caucasity says he's going to extend his hand, no olive branch in it. He's not standing down, he's not backing down. And in fact, I'm gonna prove it. Hold on, man. Let me change my slide. See, I'm gonna be on this one all day and never get to the full grip. But you just got to see the caucasity, man. Stop playing. They play too much. So my cousin, my brother, my bloodline said, and this is his Facebook post, and it's the thing that got me all wound up right now. So I had to deliver some of it. He said, "You see what's going on?" That's the title. Are y'all sneak watching this too? He said, "Now imagine if they were protesting injustice. Ooh, we got to take notes and crying out loud." So there's some people can get the sarcasm until it's not a game anymore, until it's no longer funny. Like the woman dies after being shot on Capitol grounds. Victor, and I don't even know how to say his last name, but there's the credit right there. Victor. This was published to Money Watch. See, I got a couple of sources that hit me with the information in my inbox. NBC was going crazy, CNN going crazy, even Google had stories in the Google news stream. C-SPAN, of course, it was going absolutely crazy. But Victor reported an unidentified woman died on Wednesday after being shot on the grounds of the U.S. Capitol complex. According to a report from NBC News, she was shot in the chest, according to CNN, as hundreds of President Donald Trump's supporters stormed the Capitol building. She was among the people who had been protesting in support of Trump, said Democratic Representative Henry Cuellar of Texas in a C-SPAN interview. That was on Money Watch. I was also watching the CNBC? That looks like theirs, MSNBC, and they are the ones who were kind of covering that. It was going on at a whole lot of capitals, a whole lot of places. And so you could have watched it no matter where you were, what was happening locally at your state capital or what was happening down in DC. On this image, it shows somebody burning something like I don't even know what it was, a t-shirt or something. They be doing some of the weirdest shit. I think they're only burning that because burning crosses is too obvious. But I'll go to the next one. And because they won't say it that way, I'm going to say it that way and I'm going to keep it moving. The next headline there in Washington, protesters demonstrate nationwide as Congress counts electoral college vote. See, again, they're talking about election interference. And they're talking about election rigging or a voter suppression. They're talking about all these big key terms when it comes to the democratic process, just so that they could come and hijack the democratic process out of a complaint for the democratic process. That's crazy. I don't know how many layers deep of the hypocrisy one might go, but I'll tell you that that's crazy. NBC News footage, protesters gather outside state capitals nationwide as sweeps Congress. That is crazy. It is absolute batshit certifiable clinical crazy. But it's not the only story that we've seen. As I was just going to my YouTube to watch the streams that I watch, I get my information via a lot of YouTube, not a lot of mainstream news, but I wanted to show with this screenshot on the right that all the people were covering it. It didn't matter if you were watching CBS News, ABC News, CNN, and I showed you the quote there from Money Watch. You could have been watching the market like some of us here. And you still were being over and undated with this dramatic culmination that happened regarding the Electoral College certification. On this one, I forget what all he was saying, but I captured a little bit there in the caption, so I'll read that. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi saying a shameful assault was made on our democracy. That's crazy. The Capitol breached by protesters. How do you go from some places celebrating and then what is this? Is this the same gas? Is this the same pepper spray? That don't look like it's the same type of chemical they use on black people. I am that serious. I am dead ass. I don't even think they watered down that one, man. That looked like some regular stuff. Some you could oh man, that ain't shit. You could I ain't shit that smoke right there, man. That's not real smoke right there. That's not really a disperse the crowd. It definitely didn't. It definitely didn't do its job. I'll say that. And by the time they're using this on people gathered outside, they've probably already missed the real threat to the situation there. That's what I'll say. ABC News, they have their own report. You can check it out if you're a reader. You can read the story. If you're a watcher, go to thego.com and see that one. But if you're like me, you got to get back to this goddamn hat. You ain't gonna let that shit go like that. You cannot just let this hat go. You can't let this hat go, bruh. Are you finna show up? Somebody says drop a one. My guy Champ Size, says press one. Press one. If you finna wear this, you're not wearing this hat, bro. Martin Luther King Jr. at least tried to put on the suit and tie when he was going to meet them folks. This dude said no tie. No suit jacket. Hell, I don't even need a shirt right now. All I need is this chain and my tattoos, and I am ready. But wait, who is that? My boy Ego Damas. Ego Damas, another boxing channel on YouTube. Look up Boxing Ego as well. Plug that guy. He says it this way. He says, but wait, there is more. Because not only did he only need the one chain, if he'd have wore two, he really would have been dripped up. But this is his whole armor, the whole armor of Christ, if you're a conservative. His whole armor includes this damn hat. That hat shows you he is about that business. First of all, how is it that a sweater, the Trayvon Martin had on a hoodie, and that is the most intimidating thing in this world. The hoodie didn't even have horns on it like this, though, bruh. The hoodie did not have Viking horns, first of all. So do we need more black clothing designers to start putting the horns on the hoodies so we can survive altercations with police? Because we can't survive altercations with police wearing hoodies with no horns. But this guy can survive the altercation with the Capitol Police, not just the regular police. I'm talking, you got to be trained on top of trained. You got to have some type of security clearance, above security clearance. I'm talking about the hitters that they wasn't even just regular soldiers in the army. They had extra classes and shit. They classes was different than the classes I had in the army. Those dudes are applying to be this type of security. And this hat pumped fear in them. They stood down. This hat pumped fear in American war veterans, people who went to Iraq and killed by the millions, by the tens of thousands, the hundreds of thousands, the thousands daily, every day 1,000, easy work. Every day 1,000 bodies, easy work. And he made those dudes stand down. That military that can go all the way to Iraq and take thousands of bodies a day and after catching thousands of bodies a day, that military is the recruiting ground for people who work Capitol security, private security. And that hat made them stand. If it wasn't the hat, then you tell me what it was that made them stand down. How is it that they could invade and assault and do all of these things that they're putting in the media, and they can't defend themselves against a motherfucker with a spear and a fake ass $5 Irish Native American bougie $5 hat? Was the hat more intimidating, or that motherfucker, the fact that this dude even wore it? I don't even know if it was the hat. It couldn't have been the hat, but just the caucasity of someone wearing this hat. You will not find this hat in another photo. You feel me? It takes one brave heart, Solo Dolo. He was Solo Dolo when he bought this hat. He didn't even just buy it. Can you imagine him sitting it in the car next to him after he bought it? After he said, "Ooh, that's the one," and he bought it. Can you imagine him showing his wife? He got to be an incel, bro. He got to be an incel. There is no way he went home and showed his wife this hat, and she was like, "Yeah, you gonna kill him with that one." There is no way she agreed to that hat. There is no way, Maurice. There is no way. Now the spear with the flag on it, I think if his wife was really a writer and she was like, man, yeah, you don't even need it. You don't need to do all that. You could take this right here. You don't even got to sharpen it really. You don't even know if the thing is sharp, but you just assume that somebody with a spear would have sharpened it. First of all, you would assume that this spear was not sold at Walmart. And so just because it wasn't a Chinese made good, the flag may have been made in China, but that spear, nah, you're probably going to assume that he's pretty good with a spear because you're just not going to see that spear. And in combination with that hat, I think he pulls it off. He pulls it off, man. He pulls it off good. He like two chains, and y'all will be agreeing with me, man. First of all, y'all stop tripping because y'all want to look at these images and see the black man with his suit on and think that this is a sign of weakness. We look at it from this perspective and we can see the black experience being played out as they say Black Lives Matter, but as they also say Black Lives Matter. Look how they tarnish the dude. Man, I got to show my face when I say this, man. Even if it's not necessary to see me when I'm saying this, then man, I'm gonna keep my camera on anyway. I hold no punches. This was on Facebook. My bloodline shared it. He had the picture on top of the white people protesting, and then the picture here of the brother to draw that stark contrast. And he just used two images and then let people on Facebook have their conversation as they will. And I like that he shared that information with that juxtaposition. It's not the same. This isn't our business, but it will impact us. And so we should at least be aware, which is why we kind of feel a little bit guilty for sneak watching this shit all day, knowing lightweight that this ain't even us right here. This is somebody else's issue, but it's a real issue. Because when I talk about the fact that not only did they breach, they were right there hand in hand, glove in glove with this. Look at this one. It wasn't no rubber bullets, not a single one flew. Butterflies 70. They didn't. I didn't hear of one taser going off, not even accidentally tased them. I want to see the body camera image so I can get the understanding from this officer's point of view of just how scary this moment was that made him stand down. See, you see his hand is on it. His hand is, it doesn't look like it's on the taser. I'm not sure, but it looked like he got his hand on it. Like, you know what's going to happen. But if you see this, look right here, the hand, you see it? Boom. Not this one that's kind of like, hey, bro, this is nonviolent. But at this point, it's escalating beyond nonviolence, as you see here. I'm not just saying shit just to be saying it. I know it's funny. We should be laughing at it, but damn, when you watching shit like this, like look at bro right here. Bro right here standing like, and I wish you would. You're going to have to take us all, especially dude with the stunner shades on in the Capitol. Stunner shades? Man, we get popped for less. You ain't wearing no stunner shades up in here. And why you got your hat on unless you armed? Because he probably got a spear somewhere tucked too. He just broke the handle off. Man, look at him. This is what the expectation was. The rough and rugged outback, North Virginia, whatever it is, hills or West Virginia, hillbilly cowboy. That's what they think when you think a white hillbilly. That's not it. They don't apply it to this officer right here who's willing to get on the stage with him, or he thought he was at least. Oh, yeah, he thought he met him on this stage. That's what he thought. Now, this brother right here is the one that if you're looking for a suspect, I don't know. If they looking for a suspect, they would have looked at this dude and said, yeah, he looks like he's here to intimidate. He looks like he's here to violate the democratic election process. That is against federal law. We have the right to, you would have thought at some point they would have said they have the right to protect the federal building at least. Even if they don't care about the lives of the individuals in the room, you would have thought that they would have said, hey, we're going to protect this federal property from this assault. We're going to protect her. You would have thought that they would have protected the Capitol, bro. Not allowed the person to get off. Hey, bro. Hey, when you see this, you should only see my footage about Mark Zuckerberg and just imagine him dropping the L. This is a big L to the American democratic process. Like, you're going to go take the Speaker of the House's chair, the top chair. Can you see the caucasity in the fist, the raised fist right here? Can you see it now? This was Antifa because they looking at the outfits, thinking that they're saying something by looking out the outfits, thinking that they're saying something because this was a fashionable occasion. It's fashionable to be a protester on the right side, but as long as you're on the right. He had a neck scarf on. That made him Antifa, which made him a terrorist, which means they should have shot him. They should have shot him cold. Bro, I'm not saying it just to be saying it. They barricaded the doors, pulled out their pistols because it got hot. And they got somebody sitting on stage yelling and screaming and doing all type of weird stuff, ducking underneath desks. The vice president was told to shut the fuck up, basically, and there was nothing that he could do about it. The caucasity, we can't tell the police to leave us the fuck alone. We're going on our way. We're supposed to submit to an authority. We're supposed to subordinate ourselves because the law is there. And look at the law hiding behind a barricaded door, pistols drawn in the very Capitol that makes the law. I don't have a tinfoil hat. This is not a conspiracy. I'm just showing you what I know, and I'm trying to bring this information in a timestamp manner that we might be able to remember this event and use this event as a future case study. This is psychopathy at its highest. These are the psychopaths, the double talk, the triple talk. They're doing triple gainer backflips. And let me cut my camera off as we continue to build. Because I want you to look at this, bro. You got somebody on the right of a man with a spear on his left, looking like he's taking a selfie at the time. How do you feel so comfortable with somebody with this hat on, this spear, no shirt in the Capitol with the war paint on his face? You feel this safe, this comfortable, this protected. They ended up having to shoot some damn body just to get them to stand down. But they felt this safe, this comfortable. But if they stand in front of the judge and say they were afraid, they are believed in the eyes of the law. The same law made in this same building where now these people are hiding and cowering under desks and chairs and shit. Man, look, people was looking for the red hat to say this is a Trump thing. This is a Trump thing. It's not just a Trump thing, although these are many of his supporters losing their damn minds. But we supposed to be laughing at that because this ain't even our business, to tell you the truth. This is really all on them. If they want to act a fool and look crazy, we should just be taking notes and making this a part of our case study. Our examination, our ongoing struggle for civil rights has to bump into moments like this where these same people would have been saying, oh, those Black Lives Matter protesters are terrorists as they invade the state capitol. I wish I could show you the definition of the word terrorist, how it relates to politics, political agendas. They are interfering in the certification. This is just the ceremony, but they're interfering in that election process at the Capitol with the vice president there, but nobody wants to say these people are terrorists. Nobody wanted, not even the police officers in front of them wanted to address this as a terroristic attack. Not even the fact that they had 2 bombs, not just a fancy ass Viking hat and a spear. They had 2 bombs in this motherfucker. I don't know if they were at the Capitol. That's just a report. Check ABC if you want to know where that actual report is and why they had to disassemble bombs. But they wouldn't call these people terrorists. And these motherfuckers, in their mind, they don't even think that they're being terrorists. They like to mask it behind this thing called being a patriot, obviously not knowing what a patriot even means or stands for. And in this case, their allegiances are so many, they're in so many places. This dude said, fuck a MAGA hat. I'm putting on a Viking hat. And that's the reality of the moment. Spearheaded the movement, so to say. That's okay. We got more. Because not only was he not stopped at the door, as you see here, this motherfucker was allowed to get. He could have walked in and gave Mike Pence the business in the side of his neck with this knife. But our brother Jacob Blake was shot 7 times in the back because somebody screamed he might have a knife. Y'all don't hear me, man. Y'all ain't listening. Y'all play too goddamn much, like our sister says. We would have had to have taken a blood oath with the Masonic Lodge and a firstborn son for this type of caucastic privilege. He got in that. I told you he was dripped out and flexed on a punk ass. And flexed on a punk ass. If he would have had 2 chains, bruh, y'all would have been crying. How do you get this far with the white privilege? How? A black man can't go to his car, but this man can interrupt the political process all the way down to the exact floor where the ceremony is taking place. Now, y'all don't feel me. I'm just talking to be talking. I'm just ranting to be ranting. Even Google got in on it. U.S. Capitol secured hours after the pro-Trump rioters invade Congress. Look at their language. The U.S. Capitol secured. Woman dead after rioters stormed the halls of Congress to block Biden's win. Trump supporters storm Congress, halting electoral vote certification debate. Senators escorted out of the chamber as Trump protesters stormed the building. They're giving all the sources, all the tea. And they're sharing it in this big drama time. Hey, this is the longest Netflix I've ever watched. I promise you I was sneak watching this shit all day. And you can't believe it. When I saw the dude with the Viking helmet, I lost it. I wasn't even able to work no more. I had to just, hey man, go on and log me out, bro. Go and give me something else to do other than working, because I am not going to be able to get back to work after seeing this dude's hat. U.S. Capitol is secured hours after. Stop right there. How are you talking about patriots and war veterans, and you're talking about secret security, and you're talking about the best military the world has to offer, but you weren't able to secure a single building until hours later? They don't want me talking about this right now. You got Amber Alerts going off. They don't want us talking about this right now. Hours afterwards, they were finally able to secure it. You weren't able to stop them when they were gathering. You weren't able to stop them when they were meeting on Facebook, having little town hall meetings about it, saying they're going to storm and invade the Capitol. You couldn't stop them in the parking garage. You couldn't stop them at the barricade in front of the building, nor could you stop them from getting through the military grade security doors. They put big ass cabinets in front of the, man, y'all got to see me, man. I got to cut this thing back on. They pushed this whole thing against the door. They pushed the whole desk against the door. And they could not stop those Proud Boys who were standing by and ready to do something just like this. They couldn't stop it. Those Trump fanboys was triggered. They were more triggered than people who get Trump triggered. Shout out Nyla Says, another YouTube channel that you should subscribe to if you like this type of tea. Now, she goes into it on a way, like when you talk deep state and all of that, I can't even scratch the surface off of the knowledge that sister brings to debates. And her husband is Taz Exclusive, the GOAT. Be sure to subscribe to that channel as well. If there's somebody in the chat that would like to drop those links, I would not block it. Go ahead. But you see, you could view the full coverage. You could see everything that was going on because everybody was talking about it all day. It was the longest Netflix binge. It was like, don't even go to work today. Just watch this, watch this, watch this, watch this right here. Watch this right here. And this was hey, somebody ready for it, but somebody just joined. Be sure to hit that like. If you missed it, I gotta show you this thing right here, man. Because this was the culmination right here, bruh. He's like, I'm not wearing no motherfucking mask. Bruh, I got everything but a mask. Motherfucker, let a nigga try me. I promise you he's saying that shit. I promise you he know all the words to that Dej Loaf Try Me song. He walked up in there with no shirt on and was, let a nigga try me. What was his theme song as he got ready to walk up in this motherfucker? What was his theme song? What was his, drop your theme song in the chat if you think this dude had a theme song running through the back of his mind as he geared himself up to be Braveheart. What song did he listen to in order to become Braveheart and make his way through those chamber doors? What song did he listen to in his head as he had to confront his other white native, what do we call him? $5 Irish Native American Viking, his other $5 Native American Viking brethren over there. What was the theme song going through his head? What was he thinking? I think he was letting you try me. I'm in his whole American family, and I ain't playing with nobody. I'ma catch a body. He had to have listened to that song because the people who he would be going up against, they went to Iraq and was catching 1,000 bodies a day. And so for him to be able to have the audacity, the sheer caucasity to go up against them, knowing good and damn well they supposed to have drones, they supposed to have cameras on everything, they got echo acoustics, they got little dolphins that'll fly up and down, they got flying dolphins that would have hit him, they got somewhere he would have said right now, and it would have stung him. They got little scientific bees. They supposed to have little flying cockroaches. Man, I was in the South. I know they got them little flying cockroaches. I've been in the South. I know they got them. They got them little flying cockroaches. Them things is big, man. They like this. And they could have let loose a whole swarm of them. Y'all remember they had the killer bees and shit? All of a sudden, some African killer bee came out of nowhere. They got them shits. And they could have hit him with at least 1,000 of them little baby bees, just bing, 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 binging him up. He would have had an allergic reaction to some fake ass vaccine. So he would have had an allergic reaction before he got this close. That's what we're supposed to believe, right? That they got the best equipment in the world to be able to prevent something from like this from happening. That if nothing else, they got the equipment to prevent an invasion of the state capitol. Y'all ain't listening to me because y'all ain't playing. Y'all ain't even, look, I'm going to put the controller down and I'm going to let y'all play this damn game. I'm going to put the controller down and let you play it. Because this dude wasn't playing when he picked his hat. He wasn't. Not a damn joke. Look right here. Look right here. This motherfucker here. This one right here. This one right here, nigga. What part of your body could this have penetrated that you would have survived? Because I'd have saw it and damn near died. Like, this motherfucker really finna hit me with a dead, done, killed right there. Body bag my done. Like, he's serious. He's finna jab with a whole spear, but they are not afraid of that spear. Just like they weren't afraid of those bombs that were being planted. And man, you got to laugh at it because there is no way this shit could have been real. If this wasn't the biggest showmanship game, if this wasn't the biggest what the hell is this? This can't be real. This can't be real. And there's so many things that happen, man. I just wanted to make sure I captured a little bit of that. My wife was even sending, she normally stays away from the politics, but she was sending me stories. Trump support violent and storm the U. Man. And then I'm on my Facebook, and you know how Facebook get. Once you start scrolling through Facebook, man, you down a rabbit hole if you scroll too many times, man. There was a whole lot of conversations going on the Facebook as well. So, man, because of that, I decided I'd go live right here. I think I got about 5 more minutes. So with my last 5 minutes, I'm going to read a couple of these Facebooks, then we're going to keep it moving. Let's see here. We got one. The epitome of privilege is to breach the U.S. Capitol and attempt to break down the door into the House chamber and not be shot. Not to mention to still be called a protester and not a thug, rioter, or terrorist. America is truly a different experience for some. Shout out my blood who made that post. I absolutely agree. Nothing more to say on that. What else we got? Oh, shit, I actually see that I'm live on this bad boy. Well, salute to myself on my Facebook live stream. That is crazy. Let's go be one brother Moses. I'm getting this omni-channel, omni thing down. My dude got this one right here. You see, it's hard to do the counterbalance because I don't want to like dox my homies on Facebook or whatnot, the people. But I show that one. Oh, shit. Hit myself anyway. Oh, well. Had to show myself. Some of y'all turn into him and don't even know it. Some of y'all turn into him and don't even know it, that black officer. And that's crazy. At the culmination of this, my guy sends out this when he says, "Dear Biden, I know y'all got a kerfuffle going on at the Capitol, but is you still sending us 2K immediately?" And then he puts the laughing emojis. And so we gonna LOL our way up out of their business. The only part of the business that still matters to us, really, and then we can have conversations once the election is finally certified. But yeah, Biden, we still need that. I checked my account. I ain't got nothing yet. I need to hold some. I need that right now. You know what I'm saying? I do need that stimulus check. I'm not the one saying I don't need, the government. We're against the government, all of that. I'm not that dude. In fact, send me another 2,000. In fact, send me another 2,000 on top of that. And if you want to look back and be real super liberal like the Democrat, you can be, the universal health care type of Democrat. If you want to go all the way over there, keep reparations in mind. I would love the land grants, would love all of that shit. The MORE Act, absolutely, or the States Act, definitely get that on the books. All of those things can still happen once we resume back. I think this is the culmination. I think that it goes through without a hitch from here going forward. They ain't gonna do shit. If they was actually patriots, they would have brought the real smoke. They got in this motherfucker with Viking hats on and shit, acting a plum fool. That shit was hella funny, man. Fuck that. B1 Brother Moses, the caucasity of these people. Cut the check, man. Cut the motherfucking check. Y'all can say that in the chat. Go ahead. It's all good. Say it one time. You'll feel better. Man, cut the check. We got to witness this bullshit on TV, man. Cut the check. All right, man. And so with that, B1 Brother Moses, man, once again, find me on YouTube. On my YouTube channel, man, you'll see me, man, B1 Brother Moses. Put in Brother Moses, man. Act like you're looking for Mr. Breaking News. Breaking news, partner. Act like you're looking for that, and you'll find it. And then lastly, on for my YouTube folks, y'all know my name already, man. Moses Jenkins, man. I'm the guy on Facebook with the picture with Joe Biden, by the way. Yeah, that's actually me. Ain't no running, ain't no shame. American veteran, Morehouse grad, a father, and a husband. And if I had to put those in order by what I do, it'll probably be husband first because I love my kids, but we can have some more kids. Me and wifey can take on this world, even if we can't. That's our genuine attitude. And we have two wonderful kids who make that a bit easier. And so that's a perfect example of what a real patriot looks like. Take care of your wife, take care of your family, take care of your responsibilities. As a veteran, I do have a job, so I work. And so some of this information will not be for coworkers. They definitely can't seem to agree on what's funny and what's not funny. They would have looked at it and been the same one saying, oh, well, Jacob Blake shouldn't have reached for his knife, but not able to look at that dude with the spear and see the irony in that shit. They would have been the ones who say, why are y'all saying Black Lives Matter? And this person is showing you the caucasity that supersedes anything black folks. Show me the picture of the black person wearing that motherfucking hat. Show me somebody with black Cassidy then. Show me that then. Show me Black Cassidy. Hey, show me that, man. Show me something like that. I still got 2 more minutes, man. Hey, I don't got no more jokes, man. I am all out of jokes. This is an all-American L right here. This is an all-American L. All American. Every American can take the L on this one. We're supposed to have the best military in the world. They couldn't have sent nothing to knock the hat off that nigga head. They couldn't send nothing to knock the hat off that dude's head. Like, man, you might be mad and protested, but take this shit off your head. They were supposed to stop bro at the car. There is no way he makes it past the barricade. There is no way. Hey, there is no way he was supposed to make it past the barricade with that hat on. Like, man, you're going to have to put on a shirt and tie. They used to stop us from going in the club if we had the wrong shoes on. Then the police would be outside ready to arrest everybody after it because they anticipated that there was going to be trouble. How did you not anticipate that they were coming into the building with bombs and spears and all type of shit? They can't anticipate that, but I bet you it's a black club. There's going to be trouble. You didn't see this? They didn't see this coming. that they was going to invade the Capitol? Is there any way you believe that they didn't know that this was going to happen and they were just unprepared, that it took them hours to be able to secure the building? That they had to catch a body. They women on the front line getting popped. Pow, pow, they shooting out the window. Pow, pow, pow. They turning it sideways and shit. The motherfuckers was hiding under desks. And that's the bravery or the honor of our elected officials, man. You got to be fucking kidding me. These motherfuckers don't represent me. If you feel like they represent you, then kudos to you. These motherfuckers is not it, man. I'm not going, bro. And that's all I got, so I'm out.